Hey guys, it's First Sergeant Nakera, and what I'm going to be doing today is we're going to be overgoing our 2019-2020 Amigos Drill Meet exhibition. So there was a few things wrong, and in this video I'm gonna go through them to show you and demonstrate where we were wrong and what we can fix. Okay, so starting off, we have us marching in. We're all in step, which is good. We're all aligned properly. So this is probably one of the best points of us marching. From what I can tell, everyone has their rifles at vertical port arms, which is what we're meant to be doing for exhibition. Here we are reporting in.
Thank you. Start.
Right here, I want to stop the video. So, I don't know if you guys saw that, but we're gonna do this. Going from first squad, we have Cadet 1, Cadet 2, second squad is Cadet 3 and Cadet 4, and third squad is Cadet 5. We're going in order from the squad leader being Cadet 1, the second cadet being Cadet 2, so on and so forth. So when I call when I call order arms, I want you guys to notice the rifle position. Cadet 2 is not at the same angle as Cadet 4. So we have to start working on making sure everyone's at the same angle for port arms, order arms, for everything. Because if we're slightly off, and you can see it from the side view, when they're viewing you straight in front, they can most definitely see that one person's rifle is higher than the other. And that's been an issue with Cadet 3, where when we're in formation, marching in, his rifle is at a different angle than Cadet 1 and Cadet 5. So that little click, that automatic right face when I click my heels, that was pretty good. Everyone was on time, everyone did it. So that was a pretty good job. On kickoff march, I want you guys to look at that. We were all off. It was almost a ripple going from Cadet 5, 3, and then 1, and then myself. So we need to work on making sure all our movements are timed, and we have to go by the numbers from now on. Because if we're watching that, that is very much a ripple. And then on the actual marching forward, committing the ready move. So Cadet 2 and Cadet 4 wait, and when they start, they're starting at different times. By the time Cadet 4 is on the second step of the ready move, Cadet 2 is barely starting. So I know she had said that she had been having trouble starting at the same time, but okay, now that part is a little bit unacceptable. So even though she was behind, Cadet 2 decided not to execute the half spin on the ready move. Everyone else had committed the half spin at that point, so her not doing it doesn't just show that they were off, it shows that she was just trying to do whatever she needed to catch up instead of committing the full move and being not unison, but doing the same as everyone else. Because even if she had done it late, it would have been better if everyone did the exact same movement, maybe not together in a ripple, but by her dropping the rifle and just going straight into the movement right before we put the rifles down, it doesn't look very good. So when we put the rifles down after I stopped my rifle, it was pretty good. You can hear only one sound, which is really good. That means that we all dropped it together, no one bounced the rifle. So that little step on the half spin move, I don't know where it came from. I'm just happy that when it happened, everyone did it together. But I hadn't said anything to do that move or what. I don't know why they did it. But as long as they did it together and did it the same way, I'm fine with it. I just would have liked them to have told me before they did it.
Oh. Forward.
And here we're going that forward. Right here was a major movement by second squad. What was supposed to have happened, they were meant to take one step forward and then stand fast, not keep moving and following first squad. This was meant to create space for me and Cadet 5 to walk through the formation and do the bayonet charge. You can tell once I'm back in formation, I saw what happened and I was trying to figure out how I could do or what I could do to fix this, because we didn't have enough space to do anything but what we were meant to do. Right here you have Cadet 4 anticipating a command. The command that comes after the inward phrase is bayonet charge, but what he did, he anticipated what happened because they had made that mistake of moving forward with first squad on that forward march. So you see, he's trying to fix it. He goes down, he brings it back up when I say bayonet. So at that point, what Cadet 4 should have done was just kept his rifle at the position of bayonet. This way, it would have looked like he was the first person, and everyone set out was meant to go off of what he did. But once I said bayonet, what he did is he brought it back up to vertical port and then brought it back down to the bayonet position. Okay, so right here, after myself and Cadet 5 walked through the formation, what is meant to happen is, let's take first squads for example. Cadet 1 and Cadet 2 will march forward, grab each other's rifle, and take a step outward and wait. When Cadet 5 passes Cadet second squad, they're meant to be doing the same thing and take that step out. From the video, Cadet 3 and Cadet 4 did not take that step out. This meant that I was really close to Cadet 4 when we were executing it. Now let's talk about that move itself. So I give the command start. Everyone's going the same. Everyone was going the same until the spin. At the spin, everyone didn't do it together. No one did it similarly. It was all about 1 second after each other. When I stopped, everyone committed that about face was just good. Everyone did it at the same time. Now when Cadet 5 executed her stomp, everyone was slightly hesitating on what to do. So it was about a millisecond to a second of space between each cadet. It was a little ripple, which isn't bad, but isn't what we had practiced, and this threw them off some more. So let's talk about that move myself and Cadet 5 just did. So what we were meant to do is toss the rifles, but we had some issues with tossing and getting the right spacing, so we decided to scratch it at the last minute, which probably wasn't the best idea because we only had about 1.5 days of practicing this move, which this is why it's a lot slowed down compared to the rest of the exhibition. This is a very slow movement. So we probably could have worked on it, made it a little quicker, made it a little bit more efficient. But for the time we had, it wasn't bad. Okay, let's talk about retrieve rifles. So on the command retrieve, Cadet 2 and Cadet 4 were meant to take a step to their left. And then on the command rifles, everyone was meant to take a step forward, exchange rifles, and stand fast. While they were doing that, myself and Cadet 5 were meant to take a step out, an outward face, and take 5 steps out and stop together. Myself and Cadet 5 did this good. It wasn't perfect, it was a little clunky, but it didn't look bad. What happened is Cadet 2 executed that left step right after I said retrieve rifles, which is correct, but Cadet 4 was a little behind.
Rifle.
And then on rifles, what was meant to happen, not on rifles, on drill line,
Online.
what is meant to happen, Cadet 1 and Cadet 3 were meant to take a step outward and a step inward, and they were meant to align in the space between myself and Cadet 5. What had happened was Cadet 1 executed the command correctly, but Cadet 3 hesitated a slight moment. At the same time, Cadet 4 and Cadet 3 were not aligned to Cadet 1 and Cadet 2. So on this shot, you can tell the spacing between Cadet 1, Cadet 2, Cadet 4, and Cadet 5 are about the same. And the spacing between me and Cadet 5 doesn't move because we are their center. Now if you check to my right, Cadet 3 and Cadet 1 are very spaced out compared to the rest of the team. This does happen because we're not an uneven amount of cadets. There are 6 of us, including myself. So it would have been very hard to get a perfect center, but there is a larger space between Cadet 3 and myself and Cadet 1 and Cadet 3. So we could have worked on getting that spacing correctly. And then that little move I did to indicate a hole. So everyone stopped correctly. But what we need to do is get either myself to tone it down and be the same as Cadet 5, or we need Cadet 5 to step up to this challenge and do a better spin. She didn't do a spin at all, she just stomped her rifle down. Unlike me, who added a little flair to get their attention. Because let's face it, at this point, the inspectors were not too entertained, who had been going very slow, where it had been very clunky. Let's talk about that outward face and order arms. It is a very bad ripple that happens. Everyone does not do that left face together. Cadet 1 is the very last one to do that left face, even though they're meant to be the very first. And then when they order their arms, they're not in order. It goes from Cadet 2 to Cadet 4 to Cadet 3 to finally Cadet 1. So this movement was one of the best. Everyone was on time executing our parade rest, and everyone was looking down. Let's talk about our chant. So we start off correctly. But what happens is Cadet 4 executes the drop down for the half spin before everyone else. And again, Cadet 1 is the final one to execute that half spin and catch it. When everyone's already bringing their rifles down for the next movement, Cadet 1 has barely caught on the rifle.
All the way. We drill every single day. Really hard, really good.
And then again, Cadet 4 is going at a much faster tempo. Everyone's taking their time, bringing their rifle from over the side to in front of them to bring it up. Cadet 4 put it to the side and immediately brought it in front. In this case, I was a little bit ahead. I brought up my rifle and then did everyone else. But what happened is we did in such an order that it went from me outwards. So it looks like it was planned to do so. And here we go. Cadet 2 did the same thing and anticipated the next command. So what had happened on this day was that we had to add the 15 count manual arms at the very last minute because we were short on time. We were almost about 5 minutes, 20 seconds, and we were under time. So from here we were meant to go into the ripple, but we had to postpone that for the 15 count. What Cadet 2 does is automatically try and order arms for that movement. She realizes what she does and brings it back into port arms. What I just noticed is that everyone is not at vertical port arms, but standard port arms. This is fine for the mere reason that everyone did it. No one's at a different port, so it is fine. It looks the same. But it's a little bit weird that we start off at vertical port and end at normal port. Now this order, it is one of the best orders we do. Everyone grabs the rifle, everyone puts it down at the very same time, which is amazing.
Left count, manual, arm.
Let's talk about the 15 count. It went amazing. No one sped up halfway through. Everyone kept the same tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone was the same, and everyone stopped in a ripple, which is exactly what we wanted to execute. Okay, let's talk about this right face. What is meant to happen, it's meant to be a ripple, going from Cadet 1 to Cadet 3 to myself, Cadet 1 to Cadet 4 to myself to Cadet 5, Cadet 3, and then Cadet 2. What happened is, everyone was still anticipating. I've told this before, never anticipate a command. Know what the command is next, but don't anticipate to do it. So what happens? I call right face. Cadet 1, Cadet 4, Cadet 3, and Cadet 2 do it at the exact same time. It is meant to be a ripple starting with Cadet 1. The only thing that saved us from this is that Cadet 5 and myself did it after everyone at the same time. Which it wasn't correct. It was meant to be a ripple. So let's talk about this ripple. Cadet 1 had a very hard time understanding and remembering how to execute this ripple. So when we first went down to a knee, you saw that Cadet 2 backed off. She shouldn't have moved until it was her turn to execute the next movement. So everyone brought up their rifles in the same manner and executed that right face in an amazing ripple. Okay, let's talk about the prayer march. So you have Cadet 3 and Cadet 4 who are meant to take 3 steps forward, counting on their left foot each step. Cadet 1 and Cadet 2 were meant to take 2 steps forward, and Cadet 5 and myself were only meant to take 1. What was meant to happen is Cadet 3 and Cadet 4 were meant to take all 3 steps, and then execute a left face or a right face respectively. What happened is Cadet 3 did this, but Cadet 4 pivoted. on his step. So he did the 3 steps but pivoted on the third. So he went in a more of a circular angle than that nice square. They were mostly aligned to myself and Cadet 5, but I did have to shift slightly to my right. And again with the order arms, not everyone's at that same angle. So you need to work on having the same angle throughout all the rifles. I do understand that some of the cadets are taller or shorter respectively, but this means we have to either raise the rifle or lower the others so we're all at the same line. Now this is something the inspectors told me straight. That the pyramid march is an amazing move and it's very much of an eye catcher. But we're very slow and very clunky when we do it. It took us a couple seconds to get Cadet 2 up onto the pyramid, and even then, she kept looking down and kept breaking her bearings. By the time she got up, she fixed her bearings though. She went up into the position of attention until she was given her rifle. Now let's talk about Cadet 5's hair. From this angle, you can see the individual strands of her bun falling out. She was the only cadet who didn't show up to competition with her bun already made. And I quote, she said she would do it at the competition because otherwise it would fall out. Her hair ended up falling out anyways and she was not ready.
Oh yeah, Parkland!
Woo! Executes our exhibition. Hey.
Let's talk about this present.
Good job.
It went pretty well. Cadet 1 and Cadet 5 executed the present arms at the same time in the same manner, which was great. Honestly, this is the one comment I have to make about the instructors themselves. The sergeant that was commanding the exhibition drill section took a long time to get up to our present area. As you saw, he just casually strode up, presented, and then walked off. Again, here we're at being very clunky when going out of the pyramid. Cadet 2 broke her bearings again and jumped off. Instead of stepping off the final step, she jumped off. Now Reef 1, it went all pretty well until Cadet 5 and Cadet 4 did that about face. They weren't together, they were slightly off. It all went well until that point. Now we're back at this moment of hesitation. This is meant to be a ripple, starting with Cadet 5 going down to Cadet 2. What happened was when I called port arms, Cadet 5, Cadet 3, Cadet 1, and Cadet 2 all executed at the very exact same time. The only one who went in a ripple was Cadet 4. So we get cut off before we finish that cadence, but the team wanted to do this very badly, but did not sound enthusiastically when I was starting the cadence. They very much seemed defeated and done with. I get it if they weren't happy with how they performed, but this doesn't mean you can show this until we're off the drill area and away from the team setting. So This goes back to what one of the instructors had told me during our inspection area. The team seemed defeated before we even started. I do understand we were probably the only team there that wasn't complete. That does not mean that they should have given up before we even started.
Everywhere we go.
So I do understand I'm being very harsh, but I'm being real with what the team wants. The team was very excited to compete at first, but then they started getting nervous and started to look down on themselves.